Now we are going to show all those heroes we are getting as a response. Let me just copy the call request. If you just paste it in the terminal, there is a error, base.css is empty. Yeah, actually we haven't installed Tailwind CSS. Let me just add it. Tailwind CSS. You can search for install Tailwind CSS in Vue.js. You can search for this and you can get this page. From here you can follow the installation guide. In order to install, you need to copy this and paste it in the terminal. Here, let me paste it. It will install Tailwind CSS. After installing, you need to add this in your byte.config.ts. We also have byte.config.tss. While we have created the project, this file were created automatically. So I'm going to import this. Import from @Tailwind CSS byte. Okay, it is not done it. You need to import this Tailwind CSS in any of your CSS file where you want to implement CSS styling. So I'm going to import it in my base.css, so it won't be empty and we won't get any error like that. And once again, run npm run dev. It won't show any error. Let me just reload it. You can see the change. The text color has been changed. Now we are going to use that call command. Let me copy this and paste it in the terminal. We are going to get the response with all the heroes we have. So now we are going to fetch them. Let me just comment it here. This is kind of like reference how we are going to fetch the data. This is going to be a get request and we have to put this URL and this is our header. Yeah, one more thing I want to say, that curl is not going to work in Windows. You can use Postman as an alternative. Here I am going to create a function const fetch heroes. Name of the function is going to be fetch heroes. This is going to be an arrow function and this is also a async function. In order to fetch, I am going to import reference, import from Vue. Okay, let me show you what this ref does. Let's go to this Vue.js website, ref. This is, if you search for ref under composition API, you can get this reactivity API code. Using this ref, we are going to get reactivity in our variable. If you want to learn more about reactivity, you can just click on this reactivity fundamentals. In composition API, the recommended way to declare reactive state is using the ref function. Okay, this is how we are going to declare a reactive state. Ref takes the argument and returns it wrapped within a reference object with a value property. So we are going to create a reactive state. Name of the reactive state is going to be const loading. Loading is equal ref. Default value for loading is going to be false and this is type of boolean. So we are going to take everything in try-catch block, try-catch, and moreover we are going to use finally, and inside try-catch we are going to use loading dot value. Before making the request, we are going to set it true, so it will be loading. Then we are going to make the request const response await we are going to use fetch to make the request. Fetch, and this is input string or URL. So this is our URL. Let me just copy this and paste it here. Before making the request, we have set the loading as true, and after making the request, we are going to set it false. It won't be loading anymore. Okay, false. Now we are going to check the response is if there is any error or not. res.ok. If the response is not okay, then we are going to throw a new error. It will say fail to fetch. If it is not failed, then it will execute this line of code. We are going to set another reactive state so we can show all the heroes in the template. So I'm going to take another reference state. This time it is going to be heroes, and reference, this is not going to be boolean, it is going to be empty array. And in here I'm going to create a interface I hero with name of I hero, and here I'm going to use this I hero as an type for this. And in hero, what we have, actually we have ID, this is going to be number, and we have name, this is going to be string, we have age, this is optional, age is also number, type of variable, then we have secret name, this is also type of string. Okay, now we are going to set these heroes in here. Heroes dot value is equal res dot, let me await here, res dot json, and we'll store all the heroes we'll get from the server into this heroes reactive state. Okay, now we need to call this function. And one more thing I forgot is to handle the error. It is very important to create, it is very important for a project to handle the errors. So we are going to take another state. This is going to be error, and this is type of string. By default it will be empty string. Since we are catching error in here, try catch block, I'm going to set the error here. Okay, error dot value, this time it is going to be, actually let's rename it to er, and type will be any, er dot message. Now we need to call this function. We can call this function in here, but there is a problem. Every time a state change, it will going to be re-render, and it is going to fetch again and again. The system is going to be very slow, but we don't want this. When the component mount, we want to fetch the data once for all. Okay, so let me use a function from Vue.js on mounted. This is the function. By using this, we are going to call this function only on time. Okay, it will be like this. Save it and go to the browser, reload the page, right click, inspect. I have installed a extension, let me show you. Go to extension, manage extension. This is the extension Vue.js DevTools. By using this, I can see all the, I can see these components. Okay, you can search for components. We have only one component, that is app. Inside app we have this reactive state, loading, error, heroes. You see the array is 0 and we have two errors. Let me click on this. If you just click on console, it is saying access to fetch this from origin has been blocked by course policy. To fix course error, you need to change little bit code in the backend. Once again, go to FastAPI website, search for course. There you can see how they have handled the course. This is the way to handle course. Okay, let me copy all those and go to PyCharm and in here let me paste them. Course middleware, we need to import them from fastAPI.middleware.course import course middleware, and those are the origin are allowed to make request to our backend, but we want all the origin. If you just want this front end, then you can just copy this and paste it here, but we don't want that. We want all the origin to make request to our backend. So therefore I'm just going to put this asterisk, and now we are allowed to make request. Let me just reload it. We won't get this error anymore. Once again, go to this Vue.js, and here we have only one item, which is Chris Hemsworth. Secret name is Chris. Let me show you once again all the data we have in our database. Let me make a request from the API docs. Here, read all, try it out, execute. We have only one item, that is Chris Hemsworth. Now here I am going to create a new button, button.bg indigo 700, and another class is text is going to be white, and padding horizontally 4, then padding vertically will be 2, and it will be rounded, and it will have shadow. This is the button for adding new hero. Add hero. Below this I am going to show all the heroes I have. So here with div we are going to have a few classes. This is going to be greet calls on for a small screen SM. And one more thing, if you just go to Tailwind CSS and then search for all those classes, for example padding, you can see all those classes related to padding. I am using all those classes: padding top, padding right, padding bottom. Now greet call 2. For small screen we'll have 2 column, and for larger screen LG will have 3 column. Greet calls 3, and gap between the column will be 4. In here we are going to use another div. Inside this div we are going to use v4 directive for looping all the heroes we have using this v4 equal hero in heroes, and every item will have a new key. So for that we are going to use vbind with key is equal what is unique in our hero. Actually we have unique ID of every hero dot ID. Now this is actually just a string, but if you just use v bind, then this hero id will come from this hero inside the heroes. Now in here I'm going to show all the heroes. We have hero dot name. Save it and go to the browser, search. We only have Chris Hemsworth. Now one more thing, if you want to learn more about v4 and vbind, just go to Vue.js and search for v4 directive, v4, render the element or template block multiple times based on source data. This is how actually v4 works. This is kind of like loop. Actually this is loop inside the template. Now search for vbind, built-in directive, dynamically bind one or more attributes or a component prop to an expression.